I 22 have been with my fiance 20 for 2 years and recently got engaged. I handle cooking while he takes care of other stuff including rent and utility. He's been eating a lot lately. I started cooking in large pots and buying extra ingredients. He usually tells me what he'd like to eat for dinner. Note, I only cook dinner 3 times a week. Other than that, we have plenty of leftovers. So on to the situation. Last night I cooked dinner early because he wanted to eat early. I prepared his plate and put my plate in the fridge ready to reheat for later. I was finished with studying and took a shower, then went into the kitchen to reheat my dinner and sat at the table by myself and began eating. My fiance came out of the bedroom saying he smelled the food while he was inside playing video games and thought of joining me because he was hungry. Without even asking, he put his hand on my plate wanting to eat from it. I stopped him and told him he was being selfish as he already had a larger portion of what cooked dinner and the food on my plate was barely enough for me. He complained about being hungry from playing video games. I told him I was hungry because of studying. He made a face and went to grab a spoon so we could eat together. I pulled my plate away and pointed at the fridge, telling there was some leftovers in the fridge and he could go ahead and reheat some if he was so hungry. He refused and insisted to share my dinner. I stood my ground and didn't let him. He got all pissed, threw his spoon in the sink and spit in my plate. I was 100% taken by surprise and was so livid and disgusted. I shouted, "What the F did he just do?" He just smirked at me, telling me to enjoy as he walked out. I called him F-king childish and he turned around and walked back in, saying I was the one acting like a high school bully for refusing to let him share my dinner and telling him to just have leftovers. I said he was being selfish and pretty to spit in my plate to stop me from eating, and he managed to do it. I was so upset and I couldn't eat what was in my plate. It was gross and disgusting. I threw it in the garbage can. And he threw another fit asking why I threw away perfect food, and he was counting on me giving it to him after he spit on it. We had a major fight, probably the biggest fight we've ever had thus far. He says I was wrong. I escalated and wants me to apologize first so we could put this past us, but I said no way I'd apologize after he ruined my dinner and disregarded the time and effect I made to prepare dinner. Not the a-hole, and I sincerely hope that you have already broken up with this man. Do not tie your life to his. He dropped about 500 of these. Not the a-hole, OP, but you could drive a B-52 bomber through your boyfriend's a-hole, it is so big. He spit in your food that you were eating. Because he is angry little man. Do not let anyone disrespect you like that. It will only get worse. This isn't a red flag at all. Red flags are alarming, potentially suspicious behavior that indicates someone might be abusive. This is straight up abusive. Not the a-hole, and for the love of God, don't marry this dude. Oh, you need to unload that baggage like yesterday. He is childish and abusive. Hungry from playing video games. Abusive when OP won't go hungry because he's too lazy to work the microwave on his own. Her dinner was already left over from earlier when he had his fresh dinner. This man will just get worse. Spits in her food and acts like a victim when she throws it away. She needs to kick him to the curb. OP is not the a-hole. Please don't marry him. He spit in your plate. Seriously, WTF. He tried to manipulate you into having his way, and he clearly has no regards for you or your feelings. That's a whole lot of red flags there. Husband and I have 2 little girls, 2 months old and 3 years old, and as you can imagine our household is hectic as anything, so I told him for my birthday I don't want anything. I don't want to go for a me louder gift, but I did want a birthday cake. I even specified what cake: vanilla buttercream with strawberries, mango and kiwi on top. I like small traditions like birthday cakes. We didn't do it when I was growing up, and I've made a point to start doing it now. Come to my birthday, and I was looking forward to this cake, and it turns out he didn't get it. I got disappointed and a little emotional, but I just thought it's like a little thought and effort that he didn't go through. I got myself a small cake as well as my 3 years old. When I got home my husband started nagging for half, and I refused, which has caused this argument. I'm upset because I see getting a cake as minimal thought and effort, especially since I told him what cake to get. He says we shouldn't have to worry about birthday traditions. Well, we've got 2 small children, plus I'm showing our 3 years old that it's okay to throw tantrums over something small. He says he forgot because he's been busy with our baby. We do everything 50-50s, so it's not like he's been alone with a baby with no time on his own. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You even told him what kind of cake you wanted, and he couldn't put a reminder in his phone to order you a cake. No. Not childish. This isn't about cake, Imo. This is about his lack of effort to show any appreciation. It's so critical and so easily overlooked. You two need to sit down and talk about the fact that it's not about the cake, but something much deeper. Also, happy birthday. Thank you. Not the a-hole, but probably not going to like what I have to say. You didn't get a cake because your husband didn't think it was important. The fact that you thought it was important was immaterial to him. He dismisses something reasonable that you want because he sees no value in it. This is not something that will improve. He's selfish and content to be so. Only his wants needs matter. If you think it's bad now, wait until he starts dismissing what your children want because those things, eating dinner as a family, playing a board game with them, going to the park, going to McDonald's, are unimportant to him. How do I know? I was married to an incredibly selfish narcissist for too many years. Our child suffered when it became abundantly clear that dad's love was conditional. Do what he wants when he wants, dress like he wants, like what he wants, etc. Your kids deserve better and so do you. Not the a-hole. My first Mother's Day was last year at the beginning of the pandemic. Things were crazy and we had just put our beloved dog down, so I told my husband all I wanted was my favorite donuts delivered that morning. I warned him it was Mother's Day so he'd need to order early. I was up early that morning with the baby and so looking forward to a little treat. He came downstairs and asked me if I was still planning to order the donuts. The kicker? He sent his mom and another steak donuts for Mother's Day. Not gonna lie, I considered leaving him. It had little to do with the donuts and everything to do with telling me through actions or inaction that I wasn't worth his time. That's what your husband is doing here. You're not worth his time or his respect, and that's not okay. My husband and I had a long talk about making each other feel worthwhile and appreciated, and thankfully we're back on track. I'd suggest trying the same. And happy birthday. Oh, I'd be furious. My hubby took no notice of my first Mother's Day. I had decided not to remind him or tell him what was required of him. I was sick of all the responsibility in life that fell on me at that point. So yeah, he did nothing. I was devastated. He even cried because I was so upset and he felt really bad about it. He's not forgotten Mother's Day since. My husband and I have been married for 8 years. He works in computer science at a large company. My grandparents opened a flower shop many years ago. It was handed down to my parents, and now I run it. I hired Jessica as a favor to my husband's boss. To be honest, husband has really been ass-kissing lately as a much higher paying position is going to be opening up and he wants to get it. I know he is being considered, but he wants to know he has it in the bag. So after hearing his boss talk about his daughter needing a summer job, he jumped and said we'd love to have her at the flower shop. I could use more part-time employees, and he knew that, so I didn't mind that he offered it to her without telling me first. Well, it's pretty much been a disaster and she's been here a month. Here's some of what I deal with. Honestly gave up on trying to get her off her damn phone. She only works 3 maybe 4 days a week for a few hours, but you can bet she will call off late notice for one of those. She's careless, drops things or steps on them, and then laughs it off thinking she's being cute. We don't have a uniform. Just jeans and whatever t-shirt you can move around in. Jessica, I don't know why you think wearing a crop top to work is appropriate. Moves so slow. Other manager, a good friend of mine, can't stand her, says I need to just get rid of her. I've told my husband I can't take it anymore. He insists she only needs to be hired through the summer and she will leave after. I guess she is a big daddy's girl and is an angel in the eyes of my husband's boss. I've tried to talk to her, but nothing seems to work. Like I'd almost rather pay her to not come in if I have to pay her. Not the a-hole, but your husband sure it. He's a big boy. If he wants a promotion he can get it on his own. And truthfully this hurt his chances more than it helps. Enact a strict no cell phone policy and make the other employees obey it as a means to an end. If she misses shifts and is late, document it all. And then let her go and go back to your peaceful existence. And find someone who wants to work in your shop. Sounds cool. I wish I could have that summer job. Absolutely, husband is the a-hole. The fact that he has to, or is willing to, do this level of ass kissing to get a promotion is indicative that he probably doesn't deserve it. And he's willing to compromise his wife's business. If she has to fire the teen and the husband doesn't get the promotion, will he blame his wife? Oh. What a mess. The term "don't shit where you eat" extends to a lot more than just workplace affairs. Don't mix up your personal life and professional life. I literally just had this conversation with some coworkers today. Brown nosers are the worst. If you are good at your job, no need to kiss ass. And the people that reward ass kissers tend to be shitty bosses with dysfunctional work environments. OP's husband really sucks in this situation. I hope he has other redeeming qualities, because this type of BS would have me re-evaluating our relationship. Just document things in her employee file. Schedule her for less shifts or have her do stuff that takes no effort. Or fire her, I don't know. Not the a-hole anyway. It's OP's shop and Jessica is terrible, so OP would be not the a-hole. But I do feel bad for the predicament it puts the husband in, even though he should have foreseen this. Just reduce her hours to 1 day per week. Maybe she'll quit. More likely, this job was just to satisfy some requirement of her father, and she'll be happy with the arrangement. Not the a-hole, but the repercussions from your husband's job could come anyway, even if you are in the right. The resolution here isn't really an "am I the a-hole" style thing. My suggestion would be to simply reduce her hours until it is pretty much nothing. That way she isn't there and you aren't dealing with the repercussions of letting her go. Then after a couple months, you thank her for her summer of service and let her go. Does she deserve any of that? Nope.